Hello and welcome to the astrology forecast for the week of May 26, 2025. My name is Molly Flowers. Let's get into it. The green days for this week, the days when there's more opportunity, the flow is easier, you'll encounter better luck, you'll have more ease, and it'll be easier to move forward. Those days are Monday, May 26th, and Friday, May 30th. The red days this week, when there's friction, challenges, tension, more difficulty, and more awareness needed to navigate whatever's going on that day. There's only one this week. It's June 1st, which is Sunday. Awesome. The new moon in Gemini on Monday night begins a new lunar cycle and sets the stage for a busy late May and June. Gemini points to messages, decisions, and taking care of the details of life. The new moon and Mercury's trine to Pluto opens the door to healing and problem solving. So let's talk about work and ambition. On Monday, the day of the new moon, Mercury trine Pluto sets the stage for success with banking, credit, insurance, taxes, and other financial matters. Load your calendar this week for Monday, especially if you have a lot of paperwork and details on your plate right now. We're at the halfway point between Mercury retrogrades. So check in with yourself. Are you in a good place with your plans and your projects? Because Mercury's momentum will continue, but the pace of progress is going to slow down in the next few weeks as we move toward the next Mercury retrograde cycle, which takes place in July and August. So let's talk about love and connection. Monday, again, a good day to talk to somebody. Take advantage of an easy flow of conversation into deeper and more intense topics, feelings, and such. It's a very good day for journaling and shadow work as well, for working on yourself. When we get to the weekend, a search for something deeper may influence your choices and connections as Venus conjoins Chiron in Aries, the wounded healer. Because this appears in Aries, I want you to know that it's okay to put yourself and your needs first and take some time for yourself. Take some time for your own healing, your own needs. So let's talk about health and energy. This week's Gemini focus lands on the nervous system and respiration, the lungs. Schedule a bit of downtime if you're feeling frazzled to calm your nerves and recover from information overload. With the new moon in Gemini, this can be a lot of stuff hitting all at once. So take that bit of time, especially if it's making you feel anxious or depressed or any other mental symptoms try to come up. Take good care of your lungs this week too, and for the whole period of Gemini season. Take good care of your lungs. Mask if necessary, especially if you're working with allergens or polluted air or toxic fumes. Gemini also rules the hands, so careful with your hands. Maybe do something nice for your hands, especially on Monday when the new moon appears in Gemini. So let's talk about the moon. The week opens with the moon void, of course, in Taurus. That means almost finished with Taurus. The moon enters Gemini on Monday afternoon, just before the new moon takes place on Monday evening. Details come together as the moon remains in the sign of communication until she sidesteps into emotional Cancer on Wednesday afternoon. So Monday through early Wednesday, a lot of details, a lot of communications, busy, busy, busy. When the moon moves into Cancer on Wednesday afternoon, it changes the focus from logic and details to impressions and intuition and what's the feeling quality of whatever's going on for the rest of the week. at least Wednesday afternoon to Friday afternoon. Friday afternoon, the moon moves into passionate Leo, bringing a fun and creative vibe to the weekend. So let's talk about the new moon chart. The new moon appears at 6 degrees Gemini on May 26th on Monday. New moon on Monday. My fellow Gen Xers will remember that song. Finally, after a few challenging lunations in April and early May, an easygoing new moon blesses our skies. The new moon in the early degrees of Gemini shows a busy, dynamic time with new ideas and developments swirling around all over the place. The new moon's ruling planet Mercury in its ruling sign, Gemini, shows barriers to communication easing up. The communication vibe is very strong in this chart, bringing new ideas, conversations, and insights that can go pretty deep if you are willing. The doors are open to go pretty deep because Mercury in the new moon chart trines Pluto, the planet of depth, the god of the underworld. Indulge your curiosity and ask lots of questions. The new moon and Mercury engage with a lot of other planets in this new moon chart. A trine to Pluto in Aquarius shows a step toward healing and transformation, a discovery that leads to deep insights, the potential to clear the air and solve a problem. In addition, Mercury makes sextiles to Saturn and Neptune that show a new beginning based on practical concerns, but also something heartfelt and spiritual. It's a very beautiful new moon chart. And I drew a couple of tarot cards for the new moon as well. I drew the Three of Swords as the first message, which is not everybody's favorite card to see because it's a card of heartbreak. But it's also about facing the truth about something painful so that you can move through it and beyond it. And so you can actually heal whatever that thing is. So the Three of Swords comes up asking, where are you being called to face a painful situation head on? Facing a painful truth can unlock the door to your evolution. And the second card that I drew, I always draw in pairs because we need a little backup. We need a little bit of how or what or why to make the situation a little more illuminated, right? And the second card that I drew was Justice. How does the awareness that you're gaining now, even if it's painful, how does it help you make an important decision? What part of your story are you ready to balance out or rewrite? After the new moon takes place on May 27th, the moon moves into the first quarter. Immediately after the moon moves into the first quarter. But let's just say May 27th to June 2nd, the moon will be in the first quarter phase. The first quarter is where the starting gun has gone off. Now we're gathering resources. We're asking the questions. We're getting the information that we need. We're preparing and we're setting up a new cycle. We're setting up a push forward to something towards the next full moon. If you want some insights on that full moon, please check out my June forecast. The June forecast, the whole month of June, including the full moon and the new moon in June. That forecast is now available to everybody on the Wayfinders tier on my Patreon. So go check it out if you're interested in looking ahead, because we are setting up for that upcoming June full moon right now, starting this week. So I hope y'all have a great week. Thank you so much for being around and watching my forecast and supporting my work. I appreciate you tons. Mwah. Wishing you tons of blessings, and I will see you next time. Bye.